Our first cab cam of the season comes from Michigan's Thumb. And we travel to the west side of the state for a look at innovative ag labor housing. I'm Janelle Brose, and this is Farm News 5.
Farm News 5 is brought to you by Ford.
Hampered by labor shortages and a lack of local housing for employees, Peterson Farms is one of many rural companies faced with a choice. Either expand processing capacity close to home in Oceana County, or out of state where adequate labor can be found. Peterson Farms decided home is where the heart is and embarked on a 13-month construction project to build housing designed to attract and retain year-round and seasonal employees.
It's a well-known challenge within the agricultural community that we have a definite labor shortage. And with a labor shortage also comes hand in hand a housing shortage. So Peterson Farms, as being the largest fruit processor in the state, recognized that need and came up with an innovative approach to build housing that would be affordable to attract talent to their company. It's worked well for them in the respect that they've been able to hire additional employees that are committed to the success of the organization. And it's been so successful and innovative that their plans are to build additional housing to attract more people, and also long-term is to possibly build daycare and allow residents the opportunity to move into the next phase of the American dream of actually owning a home. It's really been a fantastic opportunity because what Peterson Farms did was use all local suppliers, whether it was local builders, roofers, well people, everything they kept within the local community. So not only did they build this housing so they can attract new people to the area, but those people are also going to do business in the area, and they've also added school children to the Hart Shelby schools. And so when you add everything up, it really makes a huge economic impact to the area.
There is companies that are taking extremely innovative approaches to resolve some of their issues and their problems, right? And this is a great example of that. I am so impressed with this facility. It's laid out so nicely. They've got so many amenities for the kids, for families to come together. They're developing transportation components, laundry components. It's really, I think, like a shining star in what we could do in some housing initiatives statewide. This project itself has really brought up a lot of conversations about how do we engage statewide. We are going to probably champion some conversations around best practices and engage with Farm Bureau and Peterson Farms, through kind of elevating this issue and talking about best practices at Great Lakes Expo. So I think we'll continue to be engaged in it as a solution. How do you take this into your community? How do you develop the right zoning and the right ordinances? And where do you find those funding mechanisms? And that's another place where maybe the state can help.
If you want a car from a company that's been building them for 115 years, get a Ford. If you want a car with driver assist technology, get a Ford. You're gonna want a Ford.
The USDA's National Ag Statistics Service is forecasting an 18% drop in tart cherry production for 2019. In Michigan, the largest tart cherry producing state in the country, production could be down more than 50 million pounds compared to last year, when harvest is complete. Garrett Herregers grows, among other things, tart cherries, apples, and peaches on his fourth-generation family farm located near Hart.
The tart cherries in general, people are trying to keep their orchards surviving this year. We had a cold bloom period, reduced pollination, I would say, which resulted in reduced fruit set. It's been more than we've ever had in a spring, I would say, by far as quantity of total rain events. How that affects fruit crops generally is increased incidence of disease pressure caused us to spray more fungicides when there's low to zero margin in a lot of the crops we're dealing with anyways at this point. Usually in a down year like that, we can make up some money with increased yield for a down price, but this year it's going to be a decreased yield at a decreased price. Likely, with a lot of the yield in some of these blocks right now, there won't be enough revenue coming in to cover the cost of of the spray material, truthfully, going out in these tart cherry blocks. It's kind of an uphill battle, and a lot of people have thrown up their hands. It's made a very depressing year for a Michigan tart cherry grower, but we have to look forward to 2020. We have to keep these orchards alive the best we can and productive into the next year for the hopes of better days ahead. And unfortunately, with a perennial crop, we can't just walk away and assume we'll hit it hard next year, because our trees might not be there next year, and that's our entire livelihood and our investment at that point.
Are they an employee or an independent contractor? It is an important distinction to make when hiring. Read attorney Deanna Swisher's article in the Foster Swift Agricultural Law News to learn more about the difference.
Tim Rogers with the Farm News Media team joined Tuscola County farmer Steve Ewald for the first Cab Cam of the season. Today's Cab Cam is brought to you by Tri-County Equipment.
So it's June 19th and Tim Rogers reporting with the Farm News Media team, and we are out with Steve Ewald in Cairo, Michigan, right?
Yes.
For our first Cab Cam, sponsored by Tri-County Equipment. A great day to be out in Michigan in the planting. It's been a late planting season. Steve, thanks for letting me ride along with you.
Well, it's my pleasure to have you in the cab today and share a little bit about what goes on with Ewald Farms Incorporated.
So, Steve, can you tell us about your family farm and who all is involved in your operation?
Well, we actually started with my father years ago, and in about 1999, I decided to make a push towards organic production, which we did, and it was trying, but it worked out pretty well for us. So now we've got my son is involved, my son-in-law, and we've got 3 full-time employees that help us farm here. We operate about 2,000 acres, all certified organic, or at least in transition to.
And what kind of crops are you planting?
Today we're planting black beans. So we grow blacks, navies, willing to grow any type of dry bean. We like dry beans. We grow yellow corn, blue corn, food grade or feed grade soybeans. So we're spread out pretty well. We do some wheat, spelt even, if the market is there. So a little bit of everything.
For more news and video, or to view the entire Tri-County Cab Cam, visit MichiganFarmNews.com and the Michigan Farm Bureau channel on YouTube. With Farm News 5, I'm Janelle Brose. Have a great week of farming.